starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
A very good evening to you all, and you are warmly welcome to the Power Impact Series, proudly brought to you by the African Season Speakers Network, where we bring speakers from all over the world to be of importance and share with us their wealth of experience in their field of business, wherever they are making headway. And today, with me in the studio, Ambassador Benjamin Ozo, as always a pleasure to host whoever is coming on the show. And today I have in the house the man I call Chairman. He is the chairman, right? So today in the house with us is no other person but the man I call Chairman, Stephen Essien. He is a profound speaker. He is a consultant and also a leadership strategist. And so today is going to be head-on collision on leadership nuggets. So ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome into the studio the man I call Chairman Stephen Essien. We'll put our hands together for him.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you, Ambassador. I mean, you guys are doing.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes,
it's always a pleasure to be with you. It's always a pleasure.
It's been a very good time with you guys. I've been following. You guys are doing a great job. It's not easy to organize all these people come on Sundays to share some nuggets. Great job, and kudos to the team as well.
Right. Thank you so much. That's the man. That's the man. Man of few words, ballet. When he starts with his presentation, we might just want to turn over the whole stage. He's the one. So it's a wonderful time. We just want to quickly take our first commercial break, and then right after we move in and we're going to have our discussion with Chairman Stephen Essien. So please stay with us as we take our first commercial break.
Nice.
Need a spark to kickstart your innovation? Looking for thought and talks to get things moving? Wondering how to navigate a future full of change and uncertainty? With the eye-opening stories of digital disruption, extreme customer centricity, organizational innovation, and global shift, our collective of speakers, MCs, and moderators will shift your perspective. Meet our speakers. For booking and interviews, contact us on 0246 054092 or send us a mail info.accessnet@gmail.com. You can also follow us on all social media channels at AccessNet Global, African Seasoned Speakers Network, influencing the next generation of Africans.
Right, thank you. Welcome back, viewers, to the Power Impact Series. As I said earlier on, today in the house is Chairman Stephen Essien. He is a management consultant, and he's a coach. He is a coach, and this is not a football coach. he's not a football coach, but he's a business coach. So listen, whatever business ideas you have, whatever plans you putting together, let's welcome the coach in the house who is going to guide us to making us a winning team. Mr. Stephen Essien, I call him the chairman. Chairman, how have you been?
It's been well. The year started so well. God has been good to us. Moving around East Africa and southern part of Africa working. So it's been a very good time. I think I'm super excited. Today I was like, today is Sunday. Normally I don't want to speak on Sundays, but you guys call it. I have no way. The bosses have called me.
This demands a round of applause to be able to put the chairman in here on a Sunday. Right. That's good. It's a privilege to have you. So, chairman, when you talk about a business coach, what is it all about? What is business coaching about? Is it that you tell people what to do in business, or what is business coaching all about?
So there are different types of coaching. I'm very happy you've narrowed down to business coaching. Basically, is to guide people. I'm speaking of a 26 years of experience in working from grassroots to wherever I am now in in group, in boardroom experience. So business coaching is guiding the businesses, to take meaningful decisions or right decisions to make sure they become very successful. So that's it. That's how it is. I mean, if, if you have somebody who has done it before, I mean, if you have somebody who've worked with multinationals, locals, and understand the terrain, his job as a business coach is to guide you on what you want to do. We have
Right.
different, we have mentors, business mentors, who come and tell you what to do, but a coach is
Okay.
to guide you. I mean, whatever you want to do, guide you to make sure you achieve those successes that you want for your
Right.
business.
So do you get a lot of people coming to you to coach them, or are they rather coming to you to mentor them, or are they coming to you that hey, this is what I want to do? What is how is the whole scope like? Do
So
people?
that's a very good question you ask. You know, Let me borrow the word and call them clients or the coachees, right? The coachees don't know the difference between a coach, a mentor, or a therapist. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They usually don't know the difference. So when somebody come for like an executive coach, deals with you or agreement with you, the person comes to tell you the story and expecting you to say tomorrow morning, wake up, go here, go here, go here. But the coach is to guide, you know.
Okay.
So most of the times there's a bit of should I use the word confusion between expectations, what the coachee or the client is expecting and what you're supposed to do. And you're caught in the middle, and sometimes we find ourselves moving away from being a coach a bit to being a mentor and directing the person and see if you do it this way, we think it will help. So the clients don't mostly don't understand, but there's a clear difference. But most of the times, what I have about 27 executives in Ghana that I coach. So it's purely based on business coaching. They come as executive coaching. I'm guiding them through their career, where they need to be, where they are now. We all map up the plan together. It is where they are going, then I can coach them to get there. So that's the difference. But I still get people coming and
Yeah.
treating me.
That's a brilliant one there. So,
Yeah.
so how then does one get a business coach? Is it that when they've conceptualized the business idea, or while they are even in business, that they move to get a business coach? When does a business coach steps in, or when does a
So,
business coach comes onto the scene?
so there are different types. There are people who are specialized in startups. There are
Okay.
people who are specialized in turning, a very old company, around. So you need to find the person's expertise, the person's background, the coach's interest area, and then you can guide them. Luckily for me, all the coaching, business coachings I've done are people who are more or less like they want to start. They have a business idea, so we sit down together and shape it from inception to where they can get to. So if you're selecting a coach, know the person's expertise or his area of interest. It makes it very easy to do it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, that's it. So you definitely need to know where you are at your business, and then you know the coach you need to go in for. So
Yeah,
if you need more physical training, you go for a physical trainer. You go for a physical coach.
that's
Right, right,
that's right.
right. That's it. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
So aside business coaching, what other things do you do?
So presently working with on an organization based in East Africa. So I do most of my travels around East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, those areas. Yeah, I think we have a Nigeria as well, so I come to Nigeria a lot. But of course, Ghana is home, so I come home. We are into renewable energy. It's purely rural electrification. So I spend most of my time in these rural areas trying to see how best we can improve their livelihood. So that's what I do full time, and then that takes about 60% of my time. The rest of the time is using coaching executives, younger executives, and businesses that I get to coach. So it's a very long hours, morning to evening. When I'm in East Africa, because it's 3 hours above the GMT, so most of my trainings are done this, late in the evenings, which is about 6 o'clock Ghana time, and it's really going well. The excitement for me on the coaching bit is not is not what I get out of it. It's
Right.
being able to share what I've learned 26 years of working experience, sharing with people. The excitement I get is coaching people to move into the ladder. I picked a lady that I was coaching 4 months, 6 months ago, and move two steps immediately, become a CEO of a company. These are the
Right.
excitements I get because basically said, this is where you are, where is your vision, where do you want to go? This is how you need to play the game. Because I've walked that walk. Some was successful for me, others wasn't successful. I've learned lessons out of it. So I'm able to share and guide people. And that's the excitement. I love doing it.
Right, that's excitement because when you coach and you see them on top of the ladder, it's full
Yes,
of joy. It's not even the
exactly.
monetary aspect, but it's joy that you've been able to impact someone positively.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
So I just want to take a short quote from John C. Maxwell, who says, "Leadership is not about titles,
Yeah.
position, or flow chart.
Yeah.
It is about one life influencing another." And that's the man there. If I had the opportunity to rewrite a dictionary, that's the perfect name I'm going to use to replace Chairman Essien, because he said it exactly on this point that
Yeah.
his joy and his excitement is to see the people that he's coached
Yeah.
getting to the top there and making it there. So you need to understand when he's talking about the passion with which he does with this coaching exercises and projects.
Yeah.
Right. So from what John C. Maxwell just said or what I just read, leadership is not really about position and title, really.
Mhm. No, no, it's not. I put it well. Leadership is a doing word. It's a verb. It's not just. It's a doing word.
Right.
Leadership. It's everyday activity. You know, there's a quote I love. It's on my LinkedIn that leadership is not about you being leader, but it's you about you being able to create leaders. If you're able to
Okay.
let people do more, if you let people see more, if you let
Right.
people listen more, you become a leader. You cannot lead people who cannot do more. So when I got those quotes many years ago, I think about 8, 9 years ago, every time I'm leading people, I want them to be better than me. That makes me a good leader. So I 100% align and agree with John C. Maxwell. Leadership is a doing word. It's not just a title to raise your shoulders and walk around. If you're called a leader, you pay the price of, I mean, responsibility. It is not just the title. Yeah,
Right. So if it's not a title,
yeah.
it's not a title and it's not something you're going to hold your chest up that yes, I am this. Do leaders make mistakes?
Yes, of course. Leaders make mistakes every day of our life. But leadership and decisions is should I call it? It's like having a pebble being thrown into a river or a lake, right? Your mistake, it depends on how big the mistake is. If the mistake is as huge as a rock and you throw into the sea, or not, let me actually use a river, you see the pebble, you see
Right.
the wave as big. But that mistake, if it's very small or little, the wave doesn't. So the wave represents the impact of the business. Every leader who doesn't make mistakes, how can you learn? We learn from our mistakes. So as a leader, do not be scared to make your mistakes. And leaders do make mistakes. But the greatest
Right.
of all is when I do the mistake, I lift my hand and said, "This is me. I made a mistake." How early, how quickly you can bounce back, how can you correct that mistake makes you a good leader. Yeah.
Right. So leaders do make mistakes. That
They
that
do.
that is it. It's not as if. But then how do leaders try and then encapsulate the mistakes that they make, so that the followers don't see it as a mistake, so that they kind of repeat what the leader did? What or how does leaders do that, even though it is a mistake? How are they able to use it to their advantage so that it doesn't demoralize their followers or doesn't bring a very huge splash to the
Yeah.
team?
I mean, as a leader, you need to have emotional intelligence. Your IQ must be up there. I'll give you an example. It's not connecting to a leader making a mistake, but it's a leader stability, right? I listened
Okay.
to someone who was on a flight with Nelson Mandela. may he so rest in peace, amazing leader of all time. And there
Right.
was serious turbulence. And this man was reading newspaper, and
Right.
everybody was crying and praying and calling Jesus, calling Allah, calling everybody in the flight. And this reporter turned and saw Mandela sitting quietly reading his newspaper whilst they were in serious turbulence. So when he got down and he got close to Mandela, and Mandela said, "Wow, that was scary." So the guy said he was a bit surprised the thing happened that way, and later on find out, and he told him that as a leader, people look at your actions to react.
Okay.
As a leader, people look at your actions to react. So if I make a mistake, if I put my hands on my head and start screaming, the entire organization will start screaming. But when I make a mistake and I'm very stable and automatically I launch into solution mode, it's easy and faster for me to do what? Go
Right.
and fix it. One of the things I learned from someone I saw says that as a leader, when something happens, when you make a mistake, the first instant, he asked me a question, "What do you do?" And I said, "Fix the issue." He said, "No, you don't fix the issue. At the first time when you make a mistake, the first instant is do nothing. That's where you were able to stabilize your mind and think of what to do next." So when the mistakes are, look, people have made, leaders have made mistakes and business have lost billions of dollars. But
Right.
how do they turn that mistake and work on it is how they are very stable, they're emotionally stable, they are very, I mean, they don't want to rush and do things. That's the reason why companies in Ghana, people have lost money, they made decisions, you've lost money, but nobody hears about it because leadership
Right.
is about how they put themselves together. Look, I have got calls at 2 a.m. before and say, "I need you in the office right now because something has gone wrong." I mean, I won't mention the company's name, but we've driven to 3 a.m. to go have management meeting before because things have gone wrong. But at
Right.
that point, nobody's crying. Okay, we made a mistake. Okay, whose fault? My fault. But let's go onto the drawing board. How do we mitigate? That's the reason why we have the word mitigation plan. How do we
Right.
mitigate it as soon as possible? So leadership is not just about you know all the rosiness. Sometimes we do hit a block, and then quickly how you can turn things around, make you a great leader as well.
Right. Right. Has to quickly turn around things to our benefit. So, in leadership position, how does one make critical decisions?
Yeah.
The you made mention of emotional intelligence and the rest. How does a leader make critical decisions, which are life threatening and business threatening decisions? How and what goes into making such decisions as a leader?
So I mean, a leader, every day of your life you're making decisions, right?
Okay.
From where you were to work, from what you eat, the people you're going to call, who you're going to talk to, who you're hiring on your team, how you present your numbers, your reports, every time you're making a decision, right? But as I stated from the beginning, every decision you make has the potential to create an impact in the business. The bigger the decision, the bigger the wave. The smaller the decision, the smaller the wave. No decision, no wave, no impact in the business. So leaders are employed to make impact in the business. So we always need to make that critical decision, right? But I want to use Susan Scott's. I think it's a book I read some time back about how to make decisions, right? So what she did was to bring the leadership decisions into four categories, right? We have the leave decision making, we have the branches, we have the trunk, which is the stem, and then we have the root, right? So a leave
Right.
decision is like a decision that will take and nothing will happen to the organization. If it fails, it fails. Let's say a price change of fuel, right? We know fuel is being changed. So price change, it's not something that a leader can change on the spot. You cannot do it like that. But let's say the same oil company in Ghana want to change, let's say, the color of their building, the painting of their building. He doesn't need any big decision making body. He can just, he's a leader. He can say, let's change the color from blue to white. That one, if something goes wrong, nothing happens to the business. So that one, he
Right.
takes that decision alone. But if you look at the decision and its impact is so massive for the entire business, you cannot take the decision on your own. So you need to make sure you have team members or people around you who scrutinize, who criticize, who align with you, and make sure you take this decision. In the telecom space, by the 15th of December, nobody can touch the network unless the CEO give approval,
Okay.
because it's Christmas time. You can't just take a decision and just say, I'm going to change some price, and then maybe the network goes off. Boom. If the network goes off, we have problems,
Right.
right? So those are how it is blocked out and see this decision, I need two, three people. This decision, I need four, five people, and take that decision. But every decision a leader will take in an organization must go through these four steps. What is the
Okay.
impact? Will the impact be beneficial to the business? If it goes wrong, what will happen to the business? And who are supposed to be in charge of those decisions that you take? Yeah.
Right. Right. Beautiful. So, are there some times or there are some points that some decisions have to be taken without going through these four steps?
Yes. I mean, decisions, you need to understand if you have time to make those decisions. Decisions are time bound. If you don't
Right.
make quick decisions, I'll give you an example as well. When there was an uprising in Egypt, right, and then
Right.
the government ordered the telco, the biggest telco in Egypt around that time, to shut the network. It was a decision you can't call party, you can't call meeting, because the order has come from the top, and you have 30 seconds to make the decision whether yes or no, right? At that time, the leader, you need to be very bold and take that decision. We have some leaders who are process driven. Before the
Right.
person takes a decision, he wants to write it down, analyze, build what if scenarios around it, build mitigation plans, then take the decision. Some are well experienced, they've done it a couple of times, they can take decisions on the go. So there are
Right.
some critical decisions as a leader. You need to know that's the reason why in every organization there are levels of decision
Right.
making.
Right. Right.
The CEO can come to them and say, let's change prices. The CEO can come and say, let's shut this, because he holds that the back stops with him. So everybody in the
Right.
organization must know his or her level, the impact, what you can do. At my level, I can call some shots this evening and tomorrow morning to be implemented. But some decisions I can't take it by myself. I need to go to the global CEO and discuss with him before we can take it. So to make
Take a decision.
things very clear and no ambiguity in any business, clearly we must give people the level and what they can do and what they cannot do in business when they're taking decisions. Yeah.
All right. Right. So, in taking those decisions, how does that decision taking being able to trickle down to the followers to also understand, just as a leader has seen the vision, to be able to, communicate it so well to the followers to be able to also come along and push to the ends of that decision that the leader wants to take?
If the decision is not being taken like in the same spot, let's do it. You need to start building like meetings. You need to start having
Okay.
meetings. First of all, who are they going to? Every decision you take, there will be an impact. Who is the decision going to impact them, on what is going to impact them? You need to meet those people and have a clear guidelines. Everywhere I've worked, when we take decisions, and it's not like on the spot decision. We go through meetings. Who are you meeting? Are you meeting the directors first? Sell the idea to them. From them, you meet the next line of leaders in the business. Sell the idea to them. A leader must be able to convince people. That's it. A leader must be able
Okay.
to buy followers, you know, through talking to them. You must be charismatic. You need to have that charisma, to sell the idea, let people believe in your idea as a leader. It is one trait if you have as a leader, you always I get people to follow you. So you take the
Okay.
decision and then you try and gradually get people involved, school people, sell the benefits of the decision you've taken to the people and gradually before you implement. If you implement, I will give you example, no name of the company. There was it was a tough decision. It's two things. Either we cut headcount or we reduce salaries. When we can't cut headcount, the numbers will drop. There will be a huge impact on the numbers that I am in charge of, right?
Okay.
And I'm scared. So the only option is look, why don't we rather cut salaries?
Okay.
When we cut salaries, our numbers will look good. And by 6 months, 7 months down the line, there's a possibility we'll come back to the salary base again. So,
Okay.
what do I have to do? Clearly spend time with people, about 320 people. Spend time in small groups of meetings,
Right.
7 people, 8 people, 10
Okay.
people, gradually. And you do not go and tell them, I'm going to cut salary. That 1 hour, 2 hours with them is the business outlook, how we're bleeding, how we're suffering, how the money is not being able to come. What do you think we can do together? And trust you me, out of about 10 meetings or 11 meetings I organized, there's somebody who said, look, why don't you reduce salaries? It makes your job very easy. If I'd gone and say, let's cut salaries, trust me, it will be bloody. Everybody will say no to it. But being able to let them know the bigger picture, see the bigger picture, and see the problem that is coming, the snowball that is rolling towards us. What can we do together to mitigate it? What can we do
Right.
together to solve the problem? And they recommended, why don't you drop a bit? Why don't you cut salaries a bit? It was very easy. The day of implementation, everybody apart from me had butterflies in their stomach. And I said, we will implement this and there will not be any uproar. There will not be any noise. Let's look at it. We did, and everybody was okay. So it's about communicating that decision, the impact, especially the people who will be impacted or the people who benefit. Is clearly how do you communicate to them. Communication plan around your decision that you've taken as a leader is critical. You don't have to let go of that.
Right. You don't have to let go like that. So you made mention of a leader having or possessing some kind of charisma. Is that a key factor or a key speciality of leaders, or what are some of the characters that a leader needs to possess to be able to be, in quote, a successful leader?
So characteristics and attributes of a leader, it's a tallest. It's a tallest. And every organization and everywhere you are, it depends on what you know. I mean, if you work in the army, the qualities you deserve or you need to have to be a leader in the army is different from being a leader in a charismatic church or an orthodox church.
Right.
every
Right.
every role and leadership and what the criteria needs. So if you get into a role, you need to check what are the things you need, right? Being a leader of a large church doesn't need you to be analytical. Do you understand? But
Okay.
being a leader of a business, you need to be analytical. You need to know your numbers on top of your fingertip. They are all different types. But most important thing is that when you get into a leadership role, make a tall list of the things you need to succeed. If you don't have, make sure the people who work with you, at least one or two, have the things you don't have.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll come again. I lead an organization. There's a need for me to communicate my plans to these people. I am not a good communicator. I must have someone like an HR who's a very good communicator, or anybody in the business who's a good communicator who can sell the vision for me. That makes you a leader. So a leader is not one man
Okay.
thousand. That's the mistake sometimes we do. Exactly.
You don't do everything by yourself. You don't do everything by yourself.
No.
Okay.
If people make that mistake that you're a leader, so you need to do it. You don't force yourself. Don't force yourself. A leader is you if you are able to organize your team, put your team together so there are no flaws in the team. When the team come together, there's cohesion, there's some teamwork. Nobody That's leadership. I know some
Right. That
leaders.
that doesn't make you a lazy leader by appointing people to do the work. It's rather
No,
bringing. Okay,
because
okay,
there's delegation in leadership. There's delegation in leadership.
okay,
So you need to understand your strength. The ones you don't have the strength, don't overdo it. Let somebody who has the strength do it because you can delegate right. I've
okay,
been in an organization where, when it comes to convincing people, they are looking for Stephen Essien to go and do it because he has done it before, right? But the same
okay.
organization, when it comes to negotiation with somebody, they might not call me, they'll call somebody else who is good in negotiations. So that's every as a leader, you need to know your team, what they can do, what they cannot do, what you can do, what you cannot do, and empower people, delegate people to do it on your behalf. If you're the CEO, you don't have to do all together. If you're the CEO and you don't know your numbers very well, whoever knows the numbers, the person is either teaching you or presenting the numbers on your behalf.
Okay.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Wow.
So, leader, you don't have to jack of all trades. And that's the mistake most people make. You don't have to be jack of all trades. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that at all. Leadership is leading. There are so many things: empowering people, delegating, negotiating, building out people. So if you know all these things and you're able to delegate to people very well, people who have the strength that you don't have, it makes you a very good leader. It makes you a very good leader. Yeah.
Right. So, wow. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the chairman in there for you. It's always a joy being with the chairman because spending just a minute or two with chairman is like a whole semester at the university. And he's definitely doing that this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, share the page and let your comments flow so that we can put some of your questions to chairman because today he is here presenting on decision making in leadership role or as a leader, and he's fantastically dribble us through the field with some of these nuggets of letting us understand that as a leader, trying to delegate some of the roles to people that you have been able to identify on your team doesn't make you a weak leader, but
No.
rather it makes you a great leader because you building the synergy and the cohesion among the team members. So as a leader, Chairman, how does a leader start to identify the potentials of the team so that they can easily assign the roles that needs to be done so that the leader doesn't become a one-man thousand.
No, I mean it's paying close attention to the team. My personal skill is giving jobs to people, and I'll say this: we know we're live, but I'll say sometimes I give jobs to people that doesn't matter. I don't need it,
Okay,
but it helps me. I
okay,
don't need it, but I've given it to you with serious deadlines and timelines. It helps me get to understand your strength, what you can do, what you cannot do. In my team, in
right.
my team, I know people that if I give them a document to prepare for me and I'm presenting a document probably tomorrow evening, I'll ask them to send it to me 12 o'clock tomorrow. I know their capabilities. I know what they can do. There are other people. If I'm presenting the document tomorrow evening at 4 p.m., I ask them to send the document to me like a Thursday because I
Okay,
know that I need to go through it. So you need to spend time to be able to spend time and delegate more. When you delegate, if Benjamin delegates to me about some negotiation and I fail first one, I get to know that is not his strength. I'll guide him. Where did you fail? What happened? Gradually I get to know that this is not Stephen's strength. If Benjamin delegates me to go and do something else and I'm very successful at it, I do that ease. Then Benjamin will put it at the back of his mind and see this is this guy's strength. So as a leader,
okay.
you need to identify the potentials of everybody in your team. We are all not the same. The fingers are not equal. So we need to be able to identify. Leadership is not just, come to the office in the office and, the walk around, the one-on-one meetings, bumping to people, what your aspiration. You understand where they are going, where they are coming from, what they can do, what they cannot do. And that's one of the key things leaders must do. The open door policy we have as leadership sometimes is very funny because we are waiting for people to come in. But rather, we need to go to people. As leaders, we need to walk to our people and speak to our people and get to understand them more. It helps you when you're delegating. When you're going on leave, there's somebody who must take place. It's not the person who has been in the business for long who must take place. It's somebody who's capable to work in your stead who must take. How do you know them? Gradually working with them, delegating, empowering them, training them, coaching them, guiding them. That'll help you know everybody's strength in the business. And as a leader as well, when you're employing people, you need to make sure you employ somebody who's smarter than you. That's what people don't like to do. They can't do something than you. I mean, most leaders are scared of, you go for interview and say, this guy will take my job. No.
Yeah.
But if you're a good leader, the people following you must be extremely smarter. It makes your job as a leader very easy.
Right.
I've been to
Right.
a
Right.
discussion where they said, oh, you don't have this, how do you call it? You don't have this experience. And I asked them, what experience do I need? I shouldn't be a one man thousand of the business. In terms of leading,
Right.
in terms of understanding, in terms of giving guidance and strategy, I'm very good. So the practical one, the technical one, if I'm not good at it, somebody in the team must be good at it. Who must work on that for me? So as a leader, delegation and getting to know your people will make your job extremely easy. Yeah.
Right. As a leader, don't be scared of hiring smart people. It makes your work easier. Right. So, Chairman, you made mention of giving, assigning duties to people on your team just to be able to, unearth their potentials and their talent. So you can give a report to someone and you know that this person is going to take a longer time to finish it up, the back and forth. So let me give this person the deadline to be by Thursday, which I will need the report by Monday. In doing that, as a leader, um, is it good or is it very important to let the person you are assigning these duties to know that you're grooming him or her, or you're still going to keep it to yourself or keep it to your chest and then be working the person out?
So it depends on the individual. You also need to know the person's mindset and level of maturity. Immediately you tell somebody that I'm
Right.
grooming you, the person can go all over the place and I'm going to be the next leader. The guy is grooming me into a position. You know, some
Right.
people can't,
Okay.
some people can't take information. You need to know at what level do you want to, what I mean. In your head, you need to have a plan, a succession plan for you, and say, look, this is Benjamin, great potential. He's losing on
Right.
maybe or sales or commercial area. So
Right.
gradually, I'm going to push him to do jobs around commercial. He's very analytical. He knows the finance. He knows the numbers. But where I want Benjamin to go, he needs, and organizations do it a lot. You see somebody in a one department, they move the person from that department into a different department. Nobody understands, but there's a reason behind it. So the same way when
Right.
you have members in the team, and I know Benjamin is a solid guy on the right hand side, but he's lacking some few things on the left. I start giving him jobs on the left to do. Let him, start gathering skills gradually, understanding what is happening there. It makes him a better person. Some people you need to tell them. Others you need to keep it, shape them into the right zone before you can tell them. On the issue of giving jobs, example, I got I worked with some leader some time back. He will let me prepare all the presentation for him. And one time we just walked in there with all the leadership, from other other companies coming in. 5 minutes to time and said, "You are the one presenting." I was like, isn't it? That's the reason why I did all the job. You know every slide, every word on the slide, you put it there. So you can do it.
Right.
I'm going to stand
Right.
next to you and then I'll present with you. So for 1 hour, 30 minutes, every slide I speak on, he adds on. And after the presentation, he said, "Thank you for allowing him to present. I want to groom him. That's why I allow him." And this is it was a big meeting, distributor meeting that we needed money from them. I was shocked. That was his style. That's He threw me into the lions. Then that's his style. So you also need to give people opportunity. If you don't give them opportunity, they will never grow. You will never know their potential. So it's giving them jobs to do. Don't be scared. Let them go to those meetings. Let them follow you. Sometimes sit next to you and watch how you speak, your mannerisms. You know what I mean? All these things, the corporate politics, all those things, they learn and then helps you to also become a great one. Yeah.
Right, that's beautiful. That example you just shared, I mean, just links out to our last two episodes where we had Dr. Tiflostaki talking about the fear factor, and then how you are able to use fear to your advantage when you really know what fear, the role fear plays in your life. And for that experience or example you shared, you really went over the fear factor and you were able to do it because virtually whatever is on the slide, you put it there. So what prevents you from going to present it? Right. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I mean, if we get leaders doing most of these things, well, it also boils down to the leadership style of the
of the
person
person. Yeah.
of the person. So I mean, it comes with their leadership skills and style. So does leadership roles or leadership positions change the personality of the person?
Yes, I would say so. I would say so. Let me give you a very funny comment somebody made to me. I was going to buy somewhere, and I've used it a couple of times. I was going to buy something in the shop. The person had a frown, and then I asked the person to smile, and the person said, "Sana minimti." That's how I am, and I was like, "No, no, that's not you, because what you're doing needs a smile, so you need to smile, right?" Leadership and everything we do is like being on a stage. You cannot go act on a stage drama, and because you're not feeling well, where the script says you should scream, you're not screaming. It's not possible. So leadership
Right.
is like a stage drama. When you get on to the leadership role, you need to act the role. You need to work the role.
Sure.
Do not say I am a mother
Sure.
hen at home, so being a leader, I'm going to pamper everybody at work. No. If the rule of the game, you need to use a whip, you need to use a whip. Where you need to calm down and talk to people, you need to calm down and talk to people. So people want to carry who they are into leadership role, right? But it's different. If you're very rowdy, you talk anyhow at home, you can't be a leader and just talking to people anyhow. If you're a leader, if your personal life, you're scared, you're not adventurous, you are risk adverse, you can't take risk, then you can't be a leader in areas where you need to take risks every time. So leadership and your personality, there's a thin line, but you need to learn the rules of the game. You need to learn the rules of the game wherever you go. That's why I started by saying every role or every organization and its leaders and what is needed.
Right.
Some areas you need a very calm leader, and organizations do that a lot. I know organization in Ghana, and for the past 10 years I've monitored their CEOs. They bring CEOs to fix a particular issue or problem that they have.
Okay.
So this
Okay.
is the business is not making money. They bring CEOs or leaders who are money oriented. They'll find the money wherever it is. Sometimes it's something they need to build a brand. So they'll bring somebody who's a brand expert to come and build a brand. Sometimes they need to make sure that the staff are well positioned, they love the job. You bring a CEO who has a personality to let people love him and work for him. So the same way a leader's personality must not overshadow the role he or she is playing. Look at the role and find yourself in there and work perfectly to suit the role. Yeah.
Right. So, with the example you gave, okay, so this organization needs some kind of money or revenue to do a project. So they bring in a leader who is money focused. Right.
Yeah.
So in doing that, when this leader comes in and he or she is money focused, what happens to the other parts of the leadership role? Does that person quickly assign those roles or they neglect it and just go straight to their key role that they need to assume as getting the money wherever the money is?
So that's where delegation comes in, right? Delegation
Yeah.
comes in. You need to know your strength at this point. What do we need? We need somebody who's like this. But the other subtle attributes that we need. If it's not the main person, it's not a shoot person, there's somebody who else who can play that role to augment it. Every organization must have a focus. So the leadership is brought in for that focus. The big organizations in Ghana, already. I mean, the likes of
Right.
MTN. There's
Right.
time. There's a time frame and say we're going for this. This is the focus we're going. They can put a time and frame and say, "Oh, the next 2 3 years, look, the brand is more important to us. Let's elevate our brand." So they find a CEO who is a brand expert who know how to build the brand and bring the brand. It doesn't mean that they'll leave HR, they'll leave their sales, they'll leave everything. But what is leading? What is the main focus of the organization, where they're going? If we come and let's say there's a company in Ghana and there's some serious corruption happening, they can bring a leader who's a no-nonsense person who come and within 6 months everything is cleaned up. And I've seen it before. They come and then
Right.
everything cleaned up. He's process person. Nobody can be fraudulent again. No fraudulent activities happening again. Come and fix it, and then probably the next time, the next week, we bring a new guy to come and handle it. Yeah.
Wow. Lovely, lovely. That is the chairman in the house. Today we have the chairman in the house, so we are moving chairmanly. We are moving chairmanly. Hey, you know what? You know what? I was just waiting for the hashtag for today's presentation, and you know what? Two hashtags have dropped. The first one is no 1 man thousand, no 1 man thousand. Don't be a 1 man thousand. So the first one is no 1 man thousand, and the second one I have for today is play the role.
Yeah.
Play the role. You need to play the role as a leader. Assume all that you need to put on and play the role.
Yeah.
Assign when you need to assign, and then pick the smartest person you ever find to be on your team, and then be behind to control it. Because hey, at the end of the day, you're going to make the things, you're going to shake things, you're going to move things, and it's going to go as credits to the team and not to that person that you assign. Right. We want to take our next commercial break at this point because the chairman has taken his seat. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take our second commercial break and we'll continue from there. Thank you.
Need a spark to kickstart your innovation? Looking for thought and talks to get things moving? Wondering how to navigate a future full of change and uncertainty? With the eye-opening stories of digital disruption, extreme customer centricity, organizational innovation, and global shift, our collective of speakers, MCs, and moderators will shift your perspective. Meet our speakers. For booking and interviews, contact us on 0246 054092 or send us a mail info.accessnet@gmail.com. You can also follow us on all social media channels at AccessNet Global, African Seasoned Speakers Network, influencing the next generation of Africans.
Welcome back to the Power Impact Series, and that you're being hosted here by your main host, Ambassador Benjamin Oswans. And today it has been a wonderful time. No 1 man thousand. The hashtag no 1 man thousand. Don't try to do everything by yourself. I mean, that is why you have able people on your team to work with. Don't try to do everything, and be ready to wear the role of a leader. Put on the role of a leader when you assume the leadership position. And helping us do that is Chairman Stephen Essien. It has been wonderful from the first minute till now.
Yeah.
If you are not joining, don't worry. Join us to finish and then go back and listen. You don't want to miss anything that Chairman has shared with us. Decision making as a leader or in leadership position. Right. So, Chairman, before we left off, we're talking about this point, wearing the role of a leader. So when you are assuming the role of a leader, does it include your passion?
Yeah, passion counts, but everything you do, the bigger decision is for the business. Your passion cannot over supersedes what the business passion is, or what the business is doing. So passion also plays a very big role. Whatever you're passionate about, you do it willingly. You do it with no hassle, and and you keep moving. And one of the key things, I like the passion bit because leader must accept that he's being put in a leadership role. Sometimes we put people there who are not ready, who don't have the passion to lead, and then the organization or the business is found wanting. So the person must have the passion to lead. It's not because the guy has been here for ages or we put him there. The person must be passionate about leading, and that's where the leadership tend to be a doing word for him. Every day he's working on it. But if the person is not passionate about leading, you can't put the person there. So passion goes with leadership. Yeah,
Yeah, so passion is a key word in there for
yeah,
every leader. Right,
yeah.
right, right. Wow. That has been wonderful. That has been wonderful. So before we go off today, we want to take some keywords and then there's some final message from the chairman. The chairman, you see, we never finish with the chairman. You will never finish with the chairman because I always refer to him as a train that has landed at the station and all the doors have been opened and then you see the passengers coming out of the train. That is who chairman is. When he lands, the idea starts flowing, so it doesn't finish. So once you get him, we make sure we get enough from him. So chairman, what are your final words that you want to cap it all with us for today as decision making a leadership role?
Yeah, I mean, when we started, we all agree that leadership is a doing word. Leadership is taking responsibility. But one of the things that separate amazing leaders or leaders that have a very their names don't get missing. We talk about them. It's how careful they are and how careful they are in taking actions. So as a leader, you need to be very careful the actions you take. It's very, very important. And if I want to sum it, like, I want to read. It's in the Bible. It says, "Treat others same way you want them to treat you as a leader." That's Luke 6:31. Is there? Treat others how you want them to treat you. So as a leader, how you speak to your people, how you run the organization, take it like even your junior staff, how you want your leaders to run it that way. Make sure you treat your decisions are carefully taken, your actions are well calculated to make sure everybody's excited in the business. And I think with all these, we all yearn to be great leaders. We're on our way to be being great leaders. We're working hard to become great leaders in every action that we take. Yes.
Right. Make sure everybody's excited in your
Yeah.
team as a great leader and make sure you pull people on. Say, do unto others as you want others to do unto you. And that is our motto, Matthew 7:12. That is what chairman just gave to us. So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a wonderful time having you on the Power Impact series, and with no other person than the chairman himself. And it has been a wonderful time. So, chairman, do you have any projects you're working on, or anything you are doing that you need to share with us that you want us to know of
Yeah, so
currently?
I took a breather on all my events and programs that are coming on. I'll start my entrepreneur issues programs. I'm bringing John DeMello. He's the first to come on board, and then I have a proper training on decision making in leadership, which comes up in I think the first week of May. I'll share the flyers with you, where I can share
Right.
documents, and also um, I'm ready to the people who listen to you, the followers. I'm ready to give two slots or even one slot. Let's start with one for anybody who wants executive business coaching. I should do so much. I will be able to give one slot to you, so you can find somebody, or I don't know how you're going to do it, but anybody who wants executive coaching, I'm ready to just offer that services to the person.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. You want two slots. You want two slots from the chairman to take you through to take you through business coaching. Two
Yeah.
great slots. So, hey, wherever you're viewing us from, now or after the show when you watch, just hit us because there are two slots going, and it will be gone. So let's fast and take a slot and make time to be with the chairman himself. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
having, our time to be here on Sunday evening when you are giving us this beautiful opportunity and two slots,
Yes, exactly.
two slots
It's
to be with us. It's been an awesome time and a meditative time having you, Chairman, sharing with us. These are nuggets that you have to spend a whole trimester to receive them, but we just got them within the shortest possible time. And this is not his first and last time coming on this
Yep.
platform. You see, he's going to come again, and we're going to expand and deliberate into details and into depth what he has started with us. We want to say a big thank you to African Season Speakers Network for making it possible for us to bring this your way, and also thank you to the Hard Charger and ABN News for also helping us project this beautiful section to you wherever you're watching us from. And as I always say, dreams are in levels. Make sure you get to the top level of your dream. And remember, no more one man thousand. Play the role as a leader and make sure you are being able to assume the role and get the results for which you were placed there as a leader. God bless us all. Till we meet again next week for another great impact series. My name is Ambassador Benjamin Swansa, and we'll lovely to meet you next week to share another nugget with you. God bless you. Have a wonderful week. And we say thank you,
Thank
Chairman.
you. Thank you for having me. Right.